The key, the answer, the power, my life. Don't you know it? Don't you get it? I'm sure you do. Music is the food of love.
I dream of music. 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 I dream of music.
Music is a danger zone. Music is sensation. Music is the big unknown. It's the source and revelation.
I dream of music. 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 I dream of music.
Music is the battleground. Music lifts you high when you are down. Music puts you in when you're out. Music blasting all about. Music,
The key, the answer, the power. It's the food of love. I'm sick of music.
some new songs for all of us. It's time to make the right song for all of us. It's time to come together now, right over here.
Music is the answer. I'm sick of music.
I dream of music. I dream of music. I dream of music. I dream of music. I dream of music. I dream of music. I dream of music.
I dream of music.
I dream of music. I dream of music. I dream of music.
I think of music.
I think of music. I think of music. I think of music. I think of music. Sleep with music. I sleep with music. I sleep with music. I sleep with music. I kill for music. I kill for music. I kill for music. I kill for music.
I'm sick of music. I'm sick of music. I'm sick of music. I'm sick of music. I'm sick of music. I'm sick of music. I'm sick of music. I'm sick of music.
I'm sick. Deep sick.
Hello, 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 and welcome once again to the Dr. Zeero Xiron Free Magic Secrets Show, where we investigate all forms of magic, and you know the things and stuff I talk about, this and that, but it's important that you tune to this channel to hear a little bit of this and that, because we here at the Dr. Zeero Xiron Show like to take a break from our unhealthy passions, such as chain smoking, drinking, and smoking the buds, and a little bit of fungus sailing here and there, just to be sure. And once in a blue moon, a little bit of chemical fun. But here we are today, and I wanted to talk about a subject known as boredom. And I have frequently been thinking about this because I keep finding myself bored, which is something that usually never happens. Now, when you grow up an only child, kind of an alienated loner, you learn to entertain yourself with a fork and a spoon for hours on end, especially when you're poor and you have nothing. So I'm one of these fucking people where I never, ever, ever, ever get bored, because I always find I have this thing called imagination, which you also possess. And I'm consistently trying to be as imaginative as possible, because I know it leads away from boredom. You always want to grow. You always want to do stuff. You don't just want to give in. And the main propulsion of my life, like many people, and I hope this is also a propulsion of you, but, as a child, I obviously saw all the extremely miserable adults who were extremely lame and cut off and doing all kinds of lame shit. And I said, the most important thing in life for me is to not end up one of these people. Don't be like them. Don't ever give in. So, when I start to feel bored, I feel like I'm becoming one of those adults, because for whatever reason, but then I realized boredom is a springboard that you need. It's the same as saying you need the inclination of Yetzer Hara in order to have a good inclination. You need that sense of boredom in order to springboard you. Like, I feel like I'm not being appreciative enough of life when I get bored. But I realize that it has to creep in now and again. I guess it's okay to feel bored sometimes. It's extremely... See, only a person who is completely spoiled has the opportunity to become bored. There's boredom in prison and such like that, but that's a different kind of boredom. They wouldn't be doing that if they were able to. They want to do other things. It's a little bit of a different equation and a way to think about it. I'm talking about the boredom that comes when you're free of all the constraints. You're free of all sorts of shit. You're able to walk around, do whatever you want. You have all your senses. You have your eyesight. You're not fucking deaf. You can do anything. But yet, you sit there like a lump, bored as fuck, and you don't know what to do with yourself. Because the thing is, life is the path, and life is an adventure. And when you have all these different little boxes of things you want to do in life to check off, and then one day you turn around and then you realize you checked all these boxes, you had all your adventures, you did all your traveling, you saw every last movie you ever wanted to see, you saw every last band you ever wanted to see, you went to every last fucking electronic music, week-long music festival you wanted to go to, you traveled to every fucking obscure and strange part of fucking Europe you could ever think that you would ever want to go to. Traveled all of America. You had your sexual exploits, you had your relationships, you had your romances, you had this or this or this or this. And you finally end up in a point where no one truly understands what you are, because the essence of what you are eludes them, because you've gone to places that they could never even fucking fathom. And you did all the things, and then that's what leaves you to this sense of boredom. But no matter how drudging the sense of boredom is, you have to understand it's one of the most magical vortexes you could ever fucking jump into, because you have to fight and claw and tear at your own mind to figure out what is the next checkbox, what is the next big thing. And that's where I found myself. And the past, since this year began, I guess, it began okay. I was finishing my studies. I'm wrapping everything up so that when summer hits, spring hits, I can just do something else, figure out whatever, start fresh, blah, 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 blah. And then in February, I think it was, I got extremely ill. I ended up getting the vid to the co to the 2019. It was horrible, and it robbed me of my sense of smell, my sense of taste, and I felt like my lungs were shredded, and it was absolutely horrible. And I was down and out for almost 3 weeks from extreme illness. It was one of the most ass-kicking illnesses I ever had. And I've had quite a few. I could deliberate upon them, and you don't want to listen to all that. But let me tell you, I got that West Nile virus from mosquito when I was traveling Europe, and it killed me. Almost killed me. really, because it makes people's brains swell up and kills them, and it was horrible. It was one of the worst things that ever happened, and just sweating bullets for weeks from a fucking mosquito bite. Okay, I want to move on because you don't want to hear about all that. We're talking about boredom and the important magical trajectory that it creates. So I wanted everybody to think about the concept of boredom and just how important it is and how much you have to sometimes drag yourself to that place and actually allow yourself to feel it. When you it's like all this like magic stuff, so much of it, especially when you dip into the left-hand path and such, and these more aggressive, egocentric practices, because that's something that, the ego is something that I think should be fulfilled, and the ego is a good thing. See, Aleister Crowley built this whole Thelema thing on the will, and then the eventual assimilation into the Godhead. I say will plus ego equals conquering of the creation, and to remain a heretic ipsissimus in the creation, defying the Godhead, which makes me on par with some crazy mythological character like Lucifer or Satan. I mean, you love your Satan, but guess what? Dr. Zero's real. And Dr. Zero shows you the way. And Dr. Zero is an open book to the right fucking people. And Dr. Zero will never turn you away if you are the right people. And Dr. Zero, unlike Satan, exists in physical reality. And I am the nexus of all these things that you seek in the energy of such a figure. I will always be your personal Satan. Don't worry about it. Don't question it. Just let it happen. Dr. Zero is never going to do you wrong. But here we are, once again. Hoo-ha. Like Al Pacino. And if anybody else out there, Devil's Advocate is a great film. You should definitely watch that with their crispy cybernetic keyboards. Because Satan is so old-fashioned, he doesn't know how to cyber. They're crispy cybernetic keyboards. Do you know what I'm talking about? I guess, step it up, son. Got a lot of that fury. That, you know what I'm talking about? And he's like, not to say we got it off at 11. He got it off on 11 with the dude's wife. And that's a great film. So anyway, yeah, back to boredom. So earlier in this rant, I was talking about the beginning of the year and yada, yada, yada. So anyway, point is, I started to realize I started to get bored. I felt like everything was wrapped up. Like all my occult studies, I went to the Sefer Bayir. I read that whole thing. I said, all right. And it finally spit me out somewhere where I felt like I had gotten to a finale with my magical research, you could say. I didn't really know where to go after that because all the bases had basically been covered. And then I got really bored. And then I woke up one day and I said, there's a very specific book I'm looking for. I'm going to show up to this bookstore, and if they have a used copy, I'm going to get it on the cheap. And they did. And not only did they have a copy of it exactly as much as I assumed I was going to pay for it, but every single portion of the book was already underlined in pencil, which meant I could just erase anything I didn't want to. But the truth was, whoever had it had already fucking earmarked every single goddamn thing I was looking for in the book to begin with. It was wild. See, this is the kind of shit that happens to Dr. Zero. So that book was the Invisible and Secret Order of the Rosicrucians by Paul Foster Case. And if you don't know who Paul Foster Case is, you need to immediately Google the dude, look up his organization, the BOTA, the Builders of the Identum, ADYTUM, and then read everything he ever put out. And if I had to start my tarot journey all over again, I would begin with his book just called The Tarot. It's like the most generic name, generic cover. You'd never see it coming, but it's the best one. So, point is, I found that. And then I saw it all. And everything was clear to me. And then I was back to square one. And I realized that's what it should be called. Back to square one. Back to the magician card. You're always, when you get bored, you're back to the magician card. That's what the magician card is more than anything. It's the base thing of the willpower. It's like when you go on your journey and you do a circular, you do like a big endless journey and you think it's a path leading somewhere else, but then in the end it was like this weird epic U-turn that spits you out right at the fucking crossroads that you started from. So the larger thing is you need to, in the sense of this boredom, in the sense of these crossroads you find yourself at the sense of the center and balance, that is the key thing that you need to fuck with your magic. That is the key thing to fucking completely hone in on and say, what are the parameters of the magician card? What are the parameters of my square one? What is the beginning of my square? Like, what is it all about? Why do I keep ending up there? And as you think about it and you concentrate on it, if you put yourself in this sort of like super deep meditative trance, to the point where people might start using the words astral plane, you know, you find that there is a specific terrain to it. And you'll find that the specific terrain to it is ultimately constituted of different places that you've been, places you've experienced, everything, every single fucking place that you've ever been in your life has been created on like a kind of subliminal map. And it's as one giant labyrinth. And the trick is you have to keep traveling, you have to keep moving, you have to keep adding to it. Otherwise you get stuck there forever. But you have to understand that what your abilities on a quote unquote astral plane, and this is a big trade secret, it comes directly from your ability to physically go places and construct this new map. It's like when you played Doom 2 on the computer back in the day on the old PC, and as you fucking went through all the different places, the map would like slowly appear underneath you, otherwise it was invisible. Yes, this is the key to the astral realm. And boredom is such a fucking part of it. So big magic secret, if you didn't know, is that when you talk about the Hebrew letters, right? They're a sound, they're a picture, obviously, like you should look at the Hebrew letters like sigils. Now, each Hebrew letter has a hieroglyph, or as we may say today, an emoji connected to it. And when you know what that emoji or hieroglyph or pictograph is, however you want to call it, it expands to many, many, many things. So the magician card is called the house. It's about the house that you operate on. And that is indicative of what I've been describing. The entire square one, back to the drawing board, always that one space that you keep ending up. And it's the house within, you know. So, you know, it's not, don't think of it just as the parameters of a fucking constructed site. Think of it as the labyrinth that is constituted of all your experiences and everything that you ever have been. You know, same basic concept, but it's more realistic to look at it like a labyrinth. So it's like, what is your spatial, it's like setting up camp, for instance. You set up camp in the forest. You set up the house in the middle of the labyrinth. You know, you always have to have that component. So if you're feeling bored, as I often do and sometimes do, and, you know, just, you know, try to think about, instead of viewing the city the way you may view it, think of it like labyrinth, like straight up, like, you know, like David Bowie labyrinth. Like the second that you step outside your door, it's an endless labyrinth. Reconstitute your surroundings. And when you reconstitute your surroundings on the waking plane and the conscious plane, it therefore rearranges them in the subconscious plane. So, I mean, all these things kind of relate. and they're about bedrock formation. So, I've had you long enough for my rant, here. There's probably going to be a part 2 on this because I know I'll think of more shit. But I wanted to leave it right here because I figure, listening to me rant for like 25 minutes is enough any single fucking day. So anyway, thanks for stopping by the Zeero Xiron Free Magic Secret Show. And there will be many more episodes in the future, as well as, you should check out my book. It's called Apex Unhinged. Just Google it. Just get a copy of it. It's cheap. It's on Amazon. Just do it. Just do it. Just do it. And if you ever meet me, I'll autograph it. And we can have a conversation. And I'm kicking around a pear on the ground that looks like a pair of testicles. Yeah, anyway, I've had you enough. Have a good day. Here's a hot rockin' outro just for you. Ow! Biggity bam!
Hear this.